As I have previously mentioned, I have got a Canon XC10, which is kind of interesting because this is one of the disliked, not particularly popular cameras of the last few years. So why did I buy one? Well, a lot of the people that don't like this camera seem to be the people that have never used it. Now, I'm not talking about constructive criticism here. If you want to make points about the crop factor and the size and the controls, fair enough. I'm talking about the people who just hate it without any reason. They just don't like it. The same kind of people whose answer to every single problem in life is GH4. You know what I'm talking about if you've been on any film Facebook groups or boards, especially a few years ago. You ask any question and at some point someone is going to tell you to buy a Panasonic GH4, regardless of what your problem is. I am of course a bit biased to Canon. Currently I have a C100 Mark II, I love it, and when I do eventually upgrade it, it will probably be to a C200, so I have no intention of leaving Canon anytime soon, so it makes sense for new cameras that I buy to be Canon as well. I'm sorry if my voice is a little bit I have been ill and coughing repeatedly and things are still a bit but I'm mostly better and I can't miss uploading videos because then my YouTube channel will never grow, and we can't have that now, can we? For quite a while now I have wanted a smaller camera that I can take around with me that doesn't need a bunch of accessories to work, and as a B camera to the C100 Mark II. Something for traveling, something for YouTube videos, maybe even vlogs, just a camera that I can use for basically anything. So why did I actually choose an XC10? I wanted good autofocus because when I'm filming myself, I don't want to be concentrating on the camera all the time. I want to think about what I'm doing, and the XC10's really good auto exposure modes are going to help there too. My voice is steadily getting worse and worse. Hopefully we can make it through this entire video without me having a complete coughing attack. I'm gonna try not to do that. Panasonic and Blackmagic do make some really good cameras, but none of them are what I was looking for. If I was gonna buy any camera that wasn't a Canon, it was going to be a Sony. Sony makes several good cameras: the A7S Mark II, the A6500, the A7R Mark II, and the new A7 III Mark II. Mark III. It all gets a bit confusing. If I had got a Sony, I could have got a Canon mount adapter and then I could have used all of my existing lenses. If you've watched any of my other videos, you may have figured out by now that I'm not the world's greatest fan of lens adapters. Besides that, Canon's colour science is a bit better and Sony's battery life isn't quite as large as Canon's either. So for those reasons I decided to stick with Canon. The 200D and the other cameras in that sort of price range were a bit below what I was looking for. They didn't have all the features that I wanted. The 7D Mark II and 6D Mark II, they also look good, but no 4K, and I decided that whilst I still have a C100 Mark II, which is a 1080p camera, 1080p is still fine, I do want to move towards 4K in the future, so any new cameras that I buy, at least any expensive new cameras, should really be 4K. That leaves me with the XC10, the XC15, the 5D Mark IV and the 1DX Mark II, all of which would be good choices. The 1DX Mark II though, that's over £4,000 and it's big and pretty heavy, so I ruled that camera off pretty quickly. The Canon 5D Mark IV is expensive, but it still was just about in my price range. But I did want a smaller camera, and I was going to end up using a super zoom lens for the kind of stuff I would be filming. So it made more sense to go with the XC series than the 5D Mark IV. Also, the XC series have much better codecs with broadcast 4K 422 MXF files and 1080p 422 files as well. That brings me down to the XC10 and the XC15. The XC15 has better audio options, a waveform and some colour profiles to make it match better with the C100 and the rest of the Canon cinema line. All of that sounds great, but if I'm ever going to have audio equipment that runs XLR, the chances are I'm going to be bringing my C100 Mark II along with me as well, and that has XLR inputs, so I didn't really need them. and I'm not prepared to pay an extra £500 for a waveform and some updated colour profiles, so I went with the XC10. Canon is doing a cashback deal thing this spring, so I got £250 off the price of the XC10, and that is quite nice. Canon also includes a CFast 2.0 card, 64GB, and a CFast 2.0 card reader if you buy it from the Canon store, so that takes care of most of the accessories. All you really need is some batteries and an SD card. So I went a bit crazy and bought 5 batteries, and I used an SD card that I had lying around. In the brief time that I've used the XC10 so far, I've been really impressed with it. I still need to use it more so I know enough to do a proper review of the camera. So far, I've only used the XC10 for a bit, but in the time that I have used it for, I have been really impressed. Finally having 4K is really nice. I didn't realise quite how much I wanted 4K until I had it. Seeing how much more detail you get, even on my 1080p screen, it is glorious. So much more information and detail. I definitely prefer the ergonomics of the XC10 over a DSLR. I still need to get used to where all the controls and menus are, but when I do, I think it's going to be easier to operate it than it was with my 650D. The Canon XC10 is definitely a camcorder, but it's not like many other camcorders. I think it has just the right balance of camcorder practicality with DSLR image quality, and I'm definitely looking forward to shooting some more footage with it and creating more content that will of course be on the YouTube channel in the future. If you found this video useful, then please consider leaving a like and subscribing so as not to miss any new videos. I'm sorry if my voice really annoyed you, hopefully it will be back to normal again soon. See you later.